Hi guys, Enrico here. In this video, I'm going to be speaking about the decisions that we make on a daily basis that has an impact on our country's exchange rate. So I'm just going to be delving into that a bit and providing an education around that. It's very high level, it's very simple, it's not detailed, so effectively you don't need to be an economist or an analyst to understand this, but it's just an educational viewpoint for you to understand how your daily decisions that you are making has an impact on your country's exchange rate. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I first want to start off by saying what an exchange rate is. So it is effectively the price that you will exchange your home country for a foreign country's currency. Your home country's currency for a foreign country's currency. So for argument's sake, in my case, I'm based in South Africa. Our lending currency is the rand, and in America, North America specifically, it is the US dollars. So if I want US dollars, then I need to exchange rand for dollars, and in their case, it's vice versa. So there's a specific rate that I would need to pay, and for every dollar that I want, I need to exchange X amount of my own country's currency for that in return, but it's normally determined by demand and supply. So the more the US dollar is in demand, right, the more higher the price is relative to the other currencies that it is competing against. So in this case, it's all about the relationship between the countries because people that is demanding the currency, they are based in specific countries, whether it is Brazil, whether it is Algeria, whether it is Mauritius, whether it is China, it doesn't matter where it is. They are demanding the currency based on the country that they are based in. So it know that the demand normally comes from the products and the services that is, bought from this country. It also comes down to the content that we watch. That also has an impact on the currency of that country. So if you're watching content, from a different country, you would think that doesn't have an impact, but it actually does. It actually does have an impact because the fact of the matter is that when thousands of people from South Africa are viewing content from somebody that's based in America, advertisers and companies placing ads are wanting to get a view and wanting to advertise their products, right? And as their ads are displaying on this person's video, even if nobody clicks on it, the fact is that there's revenue earned from the ads that is being displayed in this person's content. So that ad revenue is then going to flow to the person whose video this country or the country from which this video originates. And that is just unfortunately how it works, where they get a piece of that revenue. So this is just a case in point where one needs to understand that simple things like even time spent, where you spend your time, does have an impact on your country's currency. And I want to focus a bit on demand and supply. So demand for local goods and services strengthens your country's local currency. But if there's in your country demand for foreign goods and services, then it weakens your country's local currency. For instance, we know that in Cape Town and Western Cape, there's a lot of foreigners that is trading. They've got spaza shops, as we call them, which is stock shops, or small shops where they're just selling sweets and bread and milk, etc. They've got a lot of these shops running all over the place. And because the locals are buying from them, they are taking this money that they're making and they are effectively taking it out of the country. Even if they decide to stay here, they are still foreigners. They're not native to the country in which they are operating in. So the fact of the matter is that when you support these businesses, you are supporting foreign. Even if the products are produced locally, there is a margin, and the margin means there's a cost associated with getting these products in, right? And then there's the add on, the extra, the profit that these foreigners are charging, that they're basically determining their price on the price that they or the profit that they are wanting to make on each product. That is what they can effect, take out of the country. So yes, you can add it is taxable implications, etc. But that's not the focus of this video. The focus is if you support foreign, money is going out of the country. And if you support local, money remains in the country. So it is, very important for us to understand that supporting local keeps on strengthening your currency. Watching local content, listening to local music, buying local clothes, whether it's shoes or sunglasses, paying for local services. That is what's going to strengthen your currency. But it also, if you think about demand and supply, what happens in the case where the local products are expensive, or it just doesn't have the services available that you're looking for? That also leads to your currency weakening ultimately, because the fact is that customers want options. And if you can't give them options, they're going to go to where their demand will be met. So if their demand is going to be met by a foreign supplier or foreign service provider, then unfortunately that is something that's, we have to take in our stride. And it comes down to, we need to monitor the market to see, for instance, where the opportunities lie from a business point of view. If you know in the area that you're staying that there is people that selling, or buying bread, they need sweets, they need handy Annie, they need a lot of things. Instead of going to foreign suppliers, then you can start something where you're supplying to the locals the same goods and services, and you're selling it to them at the same prices, which ultimately puts you in a position where you're diverting that cash to a local stream, and it also goes down to what your supply chain is going to look like. If you are just sourcing local, that also strengthens your local currency. But if you're sourcing foreign, it weakens your local currency. Even if a foreign supplier or a foreign company has set up a business unit in your country and they are supplying goods and services, right, to the locals, that's still money that is going out of the country because it is not native to the country that you are operating or that they are operating in. So that is basically those type of price points that is baked into understanding how the exchange rate fluctuates from time to time. So if you want a strong exchange rate, it starts with demand and supply for local goods and services. And that's where you hear about things of, the trade balance, the trade accounts, the balance of payment accounts, etc. That every country and every, governing bank is looking at in every single country. But for us, we need to understand that our decisions on a daily basis has an impact. So it's very important that if you really want to, and this is the thing, not everybody really cares about what the strength of the currency is, but I think you should, because when it comes to the fact that you are going to go overseas, the decisions that you're making now, and also when you're educating others around this, you know it's those type of things that will lead to driving down, the relative strength of foreign countries currency against yours, because you want to give yourself that advantage, even if it benefits you. But let your country benefit as well, because that's going to help you ultimately, especially if you support local in everything. I mean, we had an example where there were some foreign artists, that came to sing here in the Western Cape. And the fact of the matter is that when the people left, yes, they spoke about the experience, but these artists, the money that they made from the concert that was hosted, all that was paid was, the hotel costs and any advertising, and promoting and marketing the event and traveling, etc. But there was profits that was made from singing at this event that went to the artists, and it went with them to the country that they came from. So it's these type of things that we have to take into consideration. That whatever I buy at the market, whatever services I inquire for, always look to promote and support local. Because if you don't do that, you're going to be weakening your own current country's currency, which will have an impact on other indices and rates, whether it is the growth rate, whether it is the interest rate, whether it's even inflation. It's going to have a spillover effect on those things as well. And if you think about it, you supporting foreign, yes, you want that goods and services now. But because you're supporting foreign, Your decision, along with millions of others that's making the same decisions, are leading to businesses that's closing down, are leading to people that is now out of a job, are leading to people that can't pay off the debt that they made because they earned a salary at this local business that can no longer compete with foreign owned businesses. It's those type of spillover effects that we need to take into consideration, when we make decisions of going to buy goods and services in the market. So always make an educated decision. I know that I'm going off on a tangent and I'm explaining, with a long summary about this, but I want to reinforce this with you guys and with all the viewers that's viewing this. Understand that your decisions has an impact, a direct impact on your country's home currency. So I hope that this video has emboldened, empowered, and enabled you with knowledge as a starting point, to go on a path of exploration and go and find out. Make a note and make a list of things that you normally buy and ask yourself, if these are the suppliers that I go to, do some research. Are they local? What if I can get it somewhere else for cheaper, but they're also local? How can I support local businesses? Maybe it's a case of there's an opportunity for you to start a business as well that way, because the fact is maybe there's services and goods and products that's being provided by foreign suppliers, but there's an opportunity for locals like yourself to supply it as well. Because remember, you are uniquely positioned in this world to solve a problem which you are meant to solve. So I want to leave you with that, just again saying to you, go on the path of exploration, have a review of the goods and the products and the services that you buy in the market. Make sure that it is local and continue to support local, because you are ultimately, or your decisions ultimately has a direct impact on the country's exchange rate. So just to recap, guys, remember your decisions has a direct impact on your country's exchange rate, and I hope that the information and the education that I've passed on to you have given you some food for thought. The importance of supporting local, and leaving supporting foreign-owned businesses as a last resort, but always where possible, and it should be a non-negotiable. Supporting local, because the fact is that you find economies within economies that are operating in your country, whether it's macro, whether it's micro, whether it's local, whether it's international. These are things that you have to take into consideration. And every product and service out there in the market represents a company, which represents a country. And that in itself is economies which you are competing against and competing for. So have cognizant or be cognizant about this when you make decisions around what goods and services you are going to buy. So again, I hope this video emboldens, empowers, and enables you with an education around understanding your decisions, which impacts the local currency. And I also want to use this opportunity again, to promote this book, which I believe, will only embolden, empower, and enable you. It's got a framework showing you how to make and save money, and at the same time, this book has got so much knowledge and information available to you, where you can only be emboldened, empowered, and enabled with a positive mindset of creating a system that generates wealth for you and the generations to follow. So the book is available on our website, and there's also the ebook available that you can access. That's it.